that much down on the field, and Walls will be kicking off into basically a 20-mile-an-hour wind. So it was blowing off the tee, and they will have to hold.
And Tennessee this week worked a lot on the blue kick. I don't expect him to kick it deep to Abney.
Well, he's going to kick it out of bounds. In fact, it'll be brought out to the 35, so Kentucky will put it in play in pretty good position with the wind to their back. Kentucky, of course, in their blue here.
Free kick out of bounds.
The flag is for the out-of-bounds kick.
The ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
35-yard line, when you kick it out of bounds, that's where you put it in play, and that's the situation for Kentucky. So Lorenzen. Now, here's the situation. Artos Penner will not start, along with Chase Harp, Dwayne Robertson, and Leonard Barres. They will be sitting out the first quarter for what we have been told just minutes ago was a minor violation. I'm just speculating, maybe something like slightly late with a curfew. But anyway, Guy Morris will sit out his #1 tight end, also his tackle Dwayne Robertson, and cornerback Leonard Barres, and Penner for the first quarter of this ball game. So we will see a freshman in at tight end, Dobney, and we probably will be seeing him in action pretty quick because Lorenzen likes to throw to him. And also, we will see a freshman at tailback. Bawinji will be starting. Alexis Bawinji will start at tailback. Well, there's the guy to call the hefty lefty, the Pillsbury throw boy. But most of all, they call him a very good quarterback. He hands off. Tennessee all over this one. And the freshman is buried for a loss. Rashad Moore, one of the seniors. Tennessee has 20 seniors saying goodbye today. Let's take a look at Shoney's Kentucky offense. Miller, Rollins, Seats, Chatelaine, and Hall are the guys up front. Lorenzen and Penner. Penner, although not starting, we'll see him in the second quarter, as we will Harp, Abney, the great threat, Cook, and Boone round out your Shoney's Kentucky offense. So a loss of yardage on the very first play. They are perhaps having a little bit of trouble with the clock here, and we're having some delays, but I guess they gave him back to the line of scrimmage on that one. But Rashad Moore looked like he might, for his final game in Neyland Stadium, be fired up. Terrence?
I would say so. And that you talk about the seniors, the last time running through the tee, very emotional for a lot of those players. A mixed bag of emotions for a lot of those players. It's the last time that they'll have on a football uniform of any sort. The majority of those seniors, some will go on to the NFL, but for a lot of those players, it's an emotional last run through the tee for those guys.
Tennessee is starting 7 seniors on the defensive side of the football today. They only start 2 on the offense. Kentucky's last win in 1984, ironically, came on this field. It was 17-12 here in Knoxville. Tennessee has scored more than 50 points in 5 of the last 6 meetings. But as we said, the last game ended in Lexington with Tennessee lucky to get out of there with a 2-point win. Time will be kept on the field. So we may be in a little bit of a dark as far as that's concerned until the clock has been corrected here. Philip Fulmer looking into the sunshine there with a little bit of a frown on his face. Obviously pleased with the first defensive performance by his team here. Defense has not been a major problem for Tennessee except for injuries. The bulk of their injuries have ironically come on the defensive side, though. They've lost 4 linebackers to surgery. Here's Lorenzen back throwing. Incomplete, covered well by Tennessee. Tennessee converges on him in a sandwich job there. It was the big tight end, and Keon Whiteside hit the drop knee. Let's take a look at Shoney's Tennessee starting lineup on defense. Hand, Moore, Franklin, and Beal. They have been solid. Eddie Moore, along with Keon Whiteside as a freshman. Jason Mitchell. They're running out of linebackers. Julian Battle, Gabriel Wilson, Mark Jones, and Jabari Greer in the backfield, although Greer is somewhat hobbled, and we'll be seeing some of Corey Larkins in there as well. So here comes a 3rd and 10 situation. Out of the shotgun goes Big Lorenzen. Stands up. 300-pounder wants to run. He's got the first down, sliding almost to midfield. They say the slide started, though, about the 47-yard line, but Tennessee peeled back on defense and left him a big hole there, Terrence.
And Tennessee goes with this nickel set, bringing Stephen Marsh in at linebacker. And if you're Tennessee, you almost have to have a guy that's responsible for Jared Lorenzen. This is what we talked about at the beginning of the game. Look to see this all day.
We're told, realistically, he weighs 302 pounds. I don't think in the program he's listed quite that much, but that's the real weight. Here's the pitch back to the freshman. Turns the corner, got back to the line, and maybe a yard, and that's about it. By the way, Lorenzen on that one got 12 yards prior to that. Demetrin Veal at the bottom of the pile, along with Eddie Moore.
And I think Kentucky's going to find it difficult to run on Tennessee. They're really good versus the run. Really good linebacker play, given the amount of injuries that they've had at that position.
So Kentucky now will be looking down a 2nd and 10. Just a beautiful day, which is unusual for a Kentucky and Tennessee game. More often than not, it seems I remember these being played in rain, sleet, and snow. Very brutal conditions. Lorenzen back to throw, throws long, a sideline pattern way over his intended receiver, Apney. Running with him was Jabari Greer, but that one was totally uncatchable.
Good man-to-man coverage on the outside by Jabari Greer. And Kentucky is successful when they're throwing the sharp dink routes, crossing the quarterback space. Lorenzen's not a guy that's going to beat you with his arm down the field with the long throws.
Remember, Abney is not in there. He has been penalized by his coach along with 3 other starters for 1 quarter of play. We'll see him in the 2nd quarter. Bowenji is a freshman who's operating at tailback. Lorenzen in the shotgun, wants to throw. Stands up, got pressured, hits his man, and then he got racked. Aaron Boone is hit by Julian Battle.
A good job by the Tennessee defense, given the fact that Kentucky started this drive on their 35-yard line. Tennessee shuts down the potent offense on its first series. They bring Marsh off the corner. He's responsible for Lorenzen. Hits him low. Has to get rid of the football before he wants to. And Julian Battle just says hello to Kentucky wide receiver.
I want to correct myself. I said Abney, who's been penalized. It is Penner, of course. Artos Penner, who is sitting out the tailback. Abney is very much out there. Bakalak will punt, and he's a pretty good kicker. With the wind to his back, he kicks it, and Tennessee's Mark Jones lets it go into the end zone. And so we have a flag back up here, though, 2 of them at the midfield area. So we'll have to wait and see what the official rules here. 53-yard punt. You know, Abney and Penner may cancel themselves out in voting for the Player of the Year in the SEC because both will get votes.
I think so, and they both should get votes.
It might leave the door open for someone like David Green of Georgia to win that award, but anyway, they both will get votes, and they both deserve it.
We have offside against the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. The yardage is enough for a first down.
Well, a costly offside for Tennessee, and there's another one of those penalties. You know, you say it's 5 yards, it's harmless. No.
Just when I had said Tennessee did a good job of stopping the first Kentucky drive, given the fact they started 35-yard line, they shoot themselves in the foot. And as you said, time and time again this year, that has been the story for this Tennessee football team.
All right, the Kentucky Wildcats got a new bit of life on offense. Lorenzen's got 2 receivers set to his left. He rolls back, fakes to his tailback, and throws high over the head of the intended receiver, Derek Apney. Jabari Greer was on coverage for Tennessee. Now he's throwing with the wind to his back, but I still don't think the wind had that much effect. He just maybe the adrenaline flowing a little much there, Terrence. Well, there you see Big Lorenzen's numbers for the season. By the way, he's a junior and already announced that he will return for his senior year. Yes, he does have a future in the NFL, but he's going to put that on hold and come back and play for the Big Blue again next year. 2 receivers set to the left. The give is to Bowenji. Bowenji gets across the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. Jason Mitchell, the freshman linebacker, made the stop. 3 yards on the carry. Tennessee, without the penalty, would have the ball on offense right now. putting in play at the 20-yard line, but the offsides gave Kentucky a first down and kept their drive alive.
And I've noticed that Tennessee is substituting a good number of players early in this ball game. I guess they think we're going to have fresh legs in the third and fourth quarter, given the potency of the Kentucky offense.
Right now they're in a Mustang package, the three-man front. Lorenzen fires a short one out of that. The receiver is hit immediately, but he gains down to the 33-yard line. It's Chris Bernard, and he's hit by Julian Battle. 6-yard gain.
Mustang package. They get rid of the football real quick, and an exceptional tackle by Julian Battle. Not much for the Kentucky wide receiver after the catch. And Julian Battle has played exceptionally well for Tennessee this year in the secondary.
All right, here comes a big down. It's going to be a 4th and 1 situation. It's a little far out for the field goal. Kentucky is going to go for it.
4th and 1, and they have a fullback at quarterback.
Let's see if they go with a sneak. No, they give it off to the tailback, and he's got it. With yardage to spare all the way to the 28-yard line. Bowinji, Alexis Bowinji.
And a good gamble by Guy Morris sends a message to Tennessee that, hey, we're here to play football today. Good surge up front, good drive.
Needed a yard, he got 4. Another look.
You see the surge there by the Kentucky offensive line, and a huge pickup on 4th and short. Like you said, gets 4 or 5 yards.
Kentucky no longer a finesse football team under the old NFL lineman, Guy Morris. They play a lot of physical football, both on offense and defense right now. Here's Lorenzen. Looking long, getting a little pressure, fires, had his man break open, and it's a gain down to almost the 20-yard line, 21. Derek Abney coming out of the backfield. Jason Mitchell again made the stop, the freshman linebacker. The gain is 7. Ball is on the 21. First quarter of play. Clock is now running and apparently operating okay at 10:14 left here in the first quarter. Only the south end zone and part of the west stands are in the shade. A lot of blue here today. A lot of people have come down from Kentucky to see their Wildcats. Here's the pitch to Bowinji. Cuts back in, trying to sweep to his right. Couldn't see any daylight there. Cut back in, and Keon Whiteside made the stop, but he crossed the 20 down to about the 18-yard line. 2-yard gain.
Tennessee has this played really well. It's a sweep, and Bowinji sees that and tries to see the cutback lane. And sometimes against a team like Tennessee, because of the team speed on defense, the cutback lanes will be there. Bowinji takes a break. He's not used to the number of carries that he's had here in this first quarter.
Not even used to playing because of Penner having such a great year. Penner, of course, having just a breakout year, averaging 123 yards per ball game. We're going to have a measurement here, and that's the reason for the official timeout. It is enough for another Kentucky first down, and so the chains are waved downfield. This drive, remember, started with Tennessee kicking out of bounds, so it started at the 35-yard line. Tennessee stopped them, but had an offside penalty at midfield and kept the drive alive, and so Kentucky is just clicking off 5, 6, 7 yards at a whack, and they have moved downfield. Tennessee came into this ball game about an 8-point favorite. Lorenzen gives on a cutback to his tailback, and there's some pretty good running room down to right around the 10-yard line before the stop is made. It's Bowinji who is back in the lineup. He got 9 yards that time. Running against the flow.
Running against the flow and doing a good job of blocking. Look at the lane. And he's off into the second level of the defense.
You watch Penner probably looking on and saying, maybe I shouldn't have been suspended for a quarter. This kid looks very good. 6 carries, 20 yards. They give it to him again. This time Tennessee's waiting for him, and they jam him up. About 6 volunteers hit him at the line of scrimmage. Paris Harrelson in there right now, one of the youngsters. And freshman from Mississippi.
And this Kentucky offense is a potent offense. They've outscored their opponents 113-37 in the first quarter. They get off to a really fast start.
There is a injured Kentucky Wildcat down. And they are working now. The training staff for the Wildcats are out. 7-4 for Kentucky on the year, and for them that's a great year. They'll tell you there should be 8 wins because they had that almost miracle LSU victory when Kentucky was already had the fans climbing the goalpost to tear them down when LSU pulled it out. But 7-4 would be a disaster for their start for their basketball team, but Terrence, for the football team, that's very good.
And he's up and moving under his own control, and that's good to see. If you talk to the really faithful Blue fans, they think they should be 9-2. They think they should have won that game at Gainesville in the Swamp.
They should have. Antonio Hall comes out under his own power. We'll take a break. No score in Knoxville. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. In fact, the entire way, Tennessee's defense probably already getting tired, even though we're in the first quarter, but they are substituting a lot of people. A dive play this time, it's going practically nowhere. It'll be right around the 9-yard line when they unstack down there.
And it looks like Guy Morris may go for this. No, he's bringing his field goal unit on.
He will be kicking with the wind to his back here. Place kicker is Taylor Begley, who is a freshman, 6 foot, 202-pounder, at a pretty strong leg. And so Kentucky with a long drive, and Tennessee's defense denies them the end zone, so they will attempt a field goal. Set down on about the 13-yard line, so it'll be a 23-yard kick. We have an official stepping in here, though, to drop a flag.
Ball foul, delay of the game against the offense. The 25-second clock expired. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, the referee explained it to you. Just too much time, so they're going to pull it back now. Spotted down on the 22, making it a 32-yard effort now. Again, the wind at his back. It's down. The kick is on the way, and it is no good. So, a real deflating situation. They had that football for a long time and got nothing out of it.
And he couldn't believe that he didn't hit the kick.
Begley, they're looking on and still questioning the official, I guess. We'll take a break here. Tennessee's offense will finally get on the field. You're watching Tennessee and Kentucky on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, the season finale for Kentucky and Tennessee. Tennessee, of course, expecting to go bowling. Let's take another look at the missed field goal by Begley. And almost everyone around thought this was going to be good, and certainly the kicker did. Let's take a look. You can see it curve off to the right there. And
no good.
Look at his expression. What? Are you kidding me?
It's like my golf swing. It starts out straight, and then all of a sudden it just goes wide right.
He's still looking. He wants the goalpost moved.
He's still looking.
Well, a long, dominating stretch there for Kentucky and got nothing out of it. We'll see if that deflates them a little bit. And finally, by the way, they burned up 7 minutes and 47 seconds. Zilch. So Tennessee's offense finally gets on the field. Here's Casey Clausen at quarterback. Of course, Cedric Houston is the tailback. 4 games now of over 100 yards. Remember, he had 3 games when he was banged up and injured with a thumb injury, wore a cast for 1 game, but he's healthy again. There he goes off right tackle and fighting for yardage and gets good yardage. 7 yards. Let's take a look at Shoney's Tennessee offense. Munoz, Respert, Wells, Herrera, and Offenhuzel up front. Clausen, Houston at tailback. Fleming at fullback. Witten at tight end. Brown and Wade are the receivers. Jonathan Wade is a true freshman who a couple of games ago broke into the starting lineup. Brown went in motion toward the line of scrimmage. They hand off to Houston. Not much there as the left side of the Kentucky defense, led by Moore, Ellery Moore, and Dwayne Robertson came in. Let's take a look now at the Shoney's Kentucky defense. Robertson, by the way, is not in there at the moment, but he will be in a couple of more plays as we get set to go to the second quarter. Cottle, Burns, and Grigsby on the defense. Linebackers are Riley and Lane, and they're pretty active. They cover very well. Barres, Cumbie, Johnson, Williams, and Tatum in the Kentucky secondary. Back to the action. Here's Casey rolling. Gonna be smothered. Tennessee had a guy just standing there, not picking up a block. Vincent Barres just roared in. Tennessee's offense goes nowhere, and now they will have to kick after the sack.
Just nowhere. I think Anthony Herrera was responsible for him coming off the end, and he's a little late. You see Herrera pulling there, just not quick enough to get there.
Not even close. Now Colquitt will kick. Boy, hold your breath on this one. Abney's back at the 40. Colquitt will kick it, and kicking into the wind, kicks it away from him wisely. Abney's going to have to let it go. That is a good kick. You don't know how good that is. Not only on distance, but the fact that he gave the nation's best kick returner no chance to get his hands on the football. That was perfect. 51 yards.
And Kentucky has the football again. Tennessee just does nothing on its first drive. First run, Houston chunks off 7. You feel like, okay, they're going to get their rhythm, and they blow up when it's time to throw the football.
So Kentucky, which had over 7 minutes of offense in the start of this ball game, is right back on offense again. Tennessee's defense didn't even get a chance to catch their breath. Here is the big guy throwing long, out of bounds, up around midfield, intended for Aaron Boone, but his passes have been high today. Mark Jones was there defending, but he's been throwing high, Terrence. I don't think you can credit all that to the wind, though.
No, I think his adrenaline is there, but if you're Tennessee defensively, a concern is how much do you want to keep these guys on the field, because that plays a part in the kind of pressure they can get on Lorenzen. You want your offense to control the ball for a little while, give your defense some kind of rest.
John Chavis trying to rotate a lot of people, and got 2 men set to the left, receivers out there. Kentucky right tackle move. Antonio Hall, big number 73, drew the flag, and so it'll be 5 against the Cats.
Dead ball foul. Ball start. Gets the offense moving in the offensive line prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
There's Guy Morris, who will be in line. He'll get some votes for Coach of the Year. Should he win this ball game, might actually win that award in the SEC. 2 receivers, 1 right, 1 left. Lorenzen goes under the center this time. Steps back on the delay, gives it to his tailback, and a couple of yards or so before Tennessee's defense knocks him down. Actually give him about 3. And it is Arliss Beach who's running now at tailback. Edward Kendrick made the stop for Tennessee.
And because of their ability to throw the football, this is going to be effective. The draw will be effective today. Tennessee gets up field fast on the outside with Omari Hand and Demetrian Veal.
Tennessee needs a big play on defense. It's 3rd and 12. You got to watch the quarterback now. If you can't find anybody open, he will run with it. He did in this general area of the field earlier. Now he's back there. He's still got pressure. Now he just throws it away. And he threw it away in the pocket, by the way. That should be, it is, intentional grounding. He was not outside the tackle box, and he literally threw it away, threw it over the Tennessee bench. It was a flag, came out late, but it was intentional grounding. You got to be outside the tackles to do that.
And the pressure brought by the freshman Paris Harrelson, coming up the middle there, putting the pressure on Lorenzen, and makes a mistake, not outside the tackle box.
So now Hakalak will go back
Illegal
instead.
forward pass, intentional grounding against the offense. The penalty is loss of down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
That's what's so really tough about that penalty, is you lose the down.
And not only that, you have to kick to Mark Jones in his own right, a good kick returner. Not as good as Abney, but can take it back.
Hackalock gets his kick away. It's going to be handled by Jones right at the sideline. He looks for a little running room, gets some, a good return back up to about the 46-yard line. Do we have a flag? No.
No flag, just a little hello, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while down on close to Kentucky bench.
Scuffling, as we say, on the sidelines. Friendly scuffling. And we'll be back here with more action at Neyland Stadium between Kentucky and Tennessee. We are scoreless. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. First quarter in Knoxville, UK and Tennessee. We've got a doubleheader of college basketball this Wednesday night on CSS at 7 o'clock Eastern. Furman takes on Georgia State. Then at 9, the Auburn Tigers will host the South Carolina State Bulldogs. That's all right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. It's Philip Fulmer looking on here, trying to get a victory here today, move his team to 8 wins and into a bowl game. A lot of people speculate the Peach, but right now the main concern is winning a football game, and main concern is his offense, which is done zilch. Now they throw long, got a man out there, and a great catch down inside the 30-yard line. Tremendous catch by Montrell Jones. How ironic is this? The Kentucky papers this week have run articles about Montrell, who is from Kentucky, having not been a great success. We thought that would fire him up, and it did. 26 yards.
And they go with man coverage on the outside, bump and run. And Montrell Jones doing what you have to do as a wide receiver, go up and compete for the football.
He's saying to himself, okay, Kentucky press, how's that?
And this week they asked Montrell Jones, you haven't lived up to the hype, and he says, hey, I've caught every ball they've thrown to me.
Flags down as Tennessee dives in at right tackle and guard Cedric Houston, but a flag is dropped on each end of the line of scrimmage. Offside or movement, we'll have to see.
Offside against the defense. Player lined up in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. 3-play first down.
Rogers Redding, the referee. Southeastern Conference crew, of course. 5 yards chalked off against the Cats. Make it a 1st and 5. Big play. Actually, a pretty good return by Montrell Jones of 12 yards over Mark Jones. And then Montrell Jones caught a great pass from Casey Clausen. Great catch. Covered 26 to put him in this position. Here's the pitch coming wide left. Kentucky plays it well. Flags are down. There's no gain.
I think
David Johnson made the stop.
I think this is going to go against Kentucky. Their nose tackles in the backfield before Clausen gets the football.
Offside against the defense. Player in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. And it will be a first down.
Take another look at it, and you be the judge.
There he goes.
So 2 penalties here gives Tennessee a first down, 1st and 10. Besides the pass to Montrell Jones, penalties have been the nicest thing happening to the Tennessee offense. They line up in an I backfield. 1 receiver set on each side. Kentucky jumps again, but they jump back. Clausen maybe giving them sort of a hard count. Stands up, throws the fade. Incomplete. Tony Brown, the intended receiver, kind of looking back into the sun, too. That cannot be a real good play to call in that part of the field.
And this will be there for Tennessee all day because Kentucky is committed to stop the run. Tony Brown can do himself a favor here, cut his split down, give himself some field to work with. The defender is pushing him away from the football.
So now Tennessee looks at a 2nd down and 10. Deep in Kentucky territory. Clausen got plenty of time. Throws it. I don't know if somebody got his arm or not, but it wasn't even close. So he threw it into the ground 10 yards behind the receiver.
You and I talked about in the Vanderbilt game how we felt like Clausen was playing because Tennessee wanted him to get back in a rhythm with his timing, and in the second half, it just wasn't there. And he's way off on this throw. Trying to throw to Troy Fleming out of the backfield, not even close.
No one touched him. It was just a horrible throw. So now here comes a big 3rd down and 10. Tennessee, unless they make a first down, is about to squander what was great field position and a great opportunity. Now he throws. Got a man there. Touchdown. So they didn't squander that. Derek Tinsley, 18 yards for the Tennessee touchdown. Derek, where have you been?
He said, I've been on the sideline waiting to score a touchdown. And a great call by Randy Sanders. Goes with 4 or 5 wides. Kentucky has no answer. They send Tinsley right down the middle, and he's wide open before the safety can get there.
He had a great play in Georgia, had a great play against Florida. Been banged up a little bit, but frankly, they probably haven't used him as much as they should.
And Randy Sanders took some criticism in the Vanderbilt game for throwing the football in the second half. And he said, I was throwing the football preparing for this ball game, and we see why.
Here, I'll take another look at it after Alex Walls hit his extra point. Wide open. Tinsley is a great athlete. Athletically, he's as good as anybody on the Tennessee team.
Good protection by the Tennessee offensive line, and that's practice. Just throw and catch. Touchdown, Tennessee.
So Clausen had a great throw to Montrell, then he had a horrible throw, and then another great throw. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We'll take a break. Tennessee on top 7-0 on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back to the action here in Knoxville. Tennessee kicking off. It's a relatively short kick at about the 7-yard line. Here comes the big hole. They chase him to the sidelines and finally get him out of bounds. What a dangerous guy he is. Derek Abney. Let's go back now as Kentucky gets set to go on offense and take a look at the Tennessee touchdown. Clausen to Tinsley.
Right down the middle, right the way you draw it up in practice. They're in man coverage. And the safety, Clausen looks the safety off, comes back to Tinsley. It's too late.
25-yard return by Abney, the nation's leader in kick returns. There is Tinsley on the sideline, number 20. And there's the scoring drive. 54 yards. Took only 126 to get it done. A couple of 5-yard penalties in there against Kentucky. Here's the handoff. Straight up the middle. Big hole. And rushing with the football is Bawenji up close to the 45-yard line. 44 is where they'll put it down. 10 yards on the play. By the way, getting back to Kentucky secondary, Barres, a cornerback, is one of those 4 suspended for 1 quarter. Huffman replaced him, and Huffman is the guy they picked on.
And you had to think, I saw Philip Fulmer looking at the clock right before Tennessee started that drive, thinking we have to put it in the end zone because they get those 4 guys back.
2 back-to-back plays with great surge by the Kentucky offensive line, and Bawenji gets 5 yards. So he's got 15 yards and 2 carries right here for Kentucky. They're going to look at the surge.
Look at the surge up front in the initial part. Good drive there by the center. And you have to believe when they get Artos Penner back that those holes are going to be even bigger.
You'll be back in 1 minute and 46 seconds. That's how much time we have got in the first quarter of play. Here's the snap into the shotgun. Lorenzen got pressure, got out from under. Going to run with it. Going to run to the sidelines and out of bounds. Great story about him. Dan Brooks told this week, said he was talking with Charlie Strong. We'll get on that in a second. Take another look at it.
Tennessee doing what you have to do to contain him is try to keep him in the pocket.
Charlie Strong, the defensive coordinator for South Carolina, was putting a lot of blitz on him in Kentucky. Lorenzen ran out of bounds right in front of Strong and said, hey, coach, how about stopping the blitzing? I'm a fat boy and I'm not ready for this. Here's John Chavis, defensive coordinator, trying to stop this Kentucky drive. Lorenzen back, throwing complete, but hit immediately in his tracks at the 42-yard line is Cook. So they are moving with the football. They held the football for over 7 minutes in the opening drive in this ball game, but got nothing out of it. Finally missed the field goal.
And Omari Hand's going to come off the corner right in his face. That doesn't faze Lorenzen. He's such a big guy that the pressure really doesn't faze him.
That was enough for a first down, so the chains move downfield. 1st and 10 with the ball at the 42-yard line of Tennessee. Cats moving. 2 receivers set to the left. One comes in motion across the line. Lorenzen rolls and throws to that man in motion. And he's going to be hit, but picked up some pretty positive yardage. Derek Abney.
And played really well by Jabari Greer. And the reason why is Kentucky had 3 guys to block Jabari Greer, and they don't get it done. They set up this little screen out to Abney, and they've got 3 guys out there, and Jabari Greer makes an exceptional play.
Good play by Jabari, who was doubtful because of a sprained ankle, but he has recovered and is playing very well. Of course, Rashad Baker, their #1 defender in the secondary, is out for the season now. Here's a straight ahead dive play once again, and they pick up very solid yardage down to the 30-yard line. Kentucky offensive line is doing a good job. John Robinson. We also must point out, Terrence, in all fairness, that Tennessee's defense has been on the field almost all of this first quarter. Now 4 Kentucky starters will be coming back into the ball game. They had been suspended for what was called a minor infraction, so that's the end of the first quarter of play here in Knoxville, with the Tennessee Volunteers leading the Kentucky Wildcats 7-0. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. All right, back here in Neyland Stadium, Tennessee leading Kentucky 7-0 as we get set to go to the second quarter. Artos Penner, their great tailback, is now eligible to play. He was suspended for the first quarter along with Chase Harp, a tight end, Dwayne Robertson, a tackle, and Leonardo Burness. Burress, by the way, probably was missed more than Penner in that first quarter. Here's a long pass downfield. It is incomplete behind the receiver, Derek Abney. Abney had to turn. Tennessee had it pretty well covered, but Abney had no chance to catch that one. Take another look at it, and you'll see Abney have to turn.
And a normally sure-handed Abney just has trouble locating the football.
Greer running with him. First quarter. Look at the time of possession, 11-3. First downs, Kentucky had the ball so much they naturally have the edge. Tennessee nothing in the rushing department. Here is Kentucky rushing with Artos Penner. Straight down the gut that time for 6 yards.
And Philip Fulmer was very complimentary of Artos Penner. He said this guy reminds him a lot of Travis Henry, the great back of the Buffalo Bills. He's good inside the tackles, he's good outside the tackles, and has the speed to take it the distance if he needs to. And a big back.
See him duck that head at the last second, not going to be denied those final 2 yards. So it's 3rd down and 4. 3rd and 4. Here comes a big one. High backfield. They give it off to Penner, and he's got the first down. It's a loose football, though. And Tennessee may have recovered it. Keon Whiteside. Yes. Big break for the Vols. Big break for Johnny Chavis and his D right there. As the ball is stripped out of there from Penner, and Whiteside comes up with it. Let's take another look at it, Terrence.
John Chavis prides himself on a bend but don't break defense. And let's see who sticks up. Mark Jones sticks his head in, and that ball pops out.
John Chavis reacting on the sidelines. Ed Jones put the helmet right on the football. So Tennessee's offense back on the field. Big break there as Kentucky was driving and looking good. And then they cough it up. Now they give it off to Cedric Houston. Here comes a nice hole outside. He's down the sidelines. They got an angle on him. It is Jabari Davis. who came in at tailback, number 34 for Cedric. And Jabari brings it outside and did a beautiful job.
And the J train is on track today. A good block by the Tennessee offensive line. Look at the cutback lane. And he's out and into the third level of the defense. Just doesn't have the speed to take it the distance. Good blocking by the Tennessee offensive line. Moving the Powell, and Jabari's off and running. I think if that's Cedric Houston, he may be in the end zone.
Yeah, he may be. They say Jabari's going to be a fullback someday, but right now he ran like a tailback on that one. Flags are down. I think we have movement by Tennessee. Jabari Davis carrying the football, but a flag is down. So we will await the referee's decision.
Offside against the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Well, the jump offside caused Tennessee a little bit of movement there. So that's the third offside penalty already in this first half against the Kentucky Wildcats.
And it makes you wonder if Kentucky's defensive line going on voice inflection of Casey Clausen, if they're going on that and not watching the football.
Jonathan Wade split way out wide here at the bottom of your screen. Another receiver set to the left, and again Kentucky jumps. This time about 3 cats jumped.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to tell you, they are going on his voice inflection.
Kentucky doesn't seem to be protesting too much. So
Dead ball foul, offside against the defense. The penalty will result in a first down. First down.
You think they're going off the voice, is that right, Terrence? And that's 4 offside penalties.
No question. I mean, you got 4 defensive linemen not even looking at the football.
Well, that's a good way to move it. Tennessee will accept that. First down and 10 to go for the Vols as a result of the penalty. With the ball at the 41-yard line of Kentucky. Give it to the tailback. Maybe 2 before he's driven back. 2-yard gain. Dwayne Robertson, one of those players who was suspended for the first quarter, defensive tackle, is in on the stop. He's a 311-pounder, by the way.
And for Tennessee, Kentucky is really committed to stop the run. Tennessee's going to have an opportunity to throw to the middle of the field, maybe on a post with one-on-one coverage, man coverage on the outside.
They need 8 yards for a first down. They fake it to the tailback. They go long. They got Wade down there off his fingertips. Oh, my.
Okay, Jonathan. That's the second time in 2 ball games that they've gone deep to Jonathan Wade. Play action, drawing the linebackers up. Free safety's nowhere, and you have to make this catch. He just drops it.
Casey reacts.
And Casey's saying, where is Dante Stallworth when you need him?
He's in the Crescent City, down where they have the Mardi Gras, making a lot of money. Jonathan, of course, is from the state of Louisiana, but not looking stalwart like on that one. Here's Casey, scrambling. Gonna have to try to run with it. He's got some running room, and he's got maybe a first down. Looks like he got a first down by a yard. It's a spare. Got 9 on it.
And he's a gamer.
Swift. Casey Clausen moves for a first down.
He's a gamer. There's nothing there. Good coverage by the Kentucky secondary. He's looking for a wide receiver to scramble to him, just decides to try to pick it up on his own.
Remember, he's still not 100%. Still got a little bit of a shoulder problem, a little bit of a foot problem as well. But good movement that time by Casey. First and 10 to go for the Orange. Throwback pass, incomplete just as well as had he caught it. Tinsley, he might have had to fumble that football or might have been forced to. He was covered like a blanket by Mike Williams. This is not a real good decision to throw in that spot.
And Randy Sanders calls a good play, but it's not a good play because Kentucky's in man coverage. Mike Williams doesn't back up. He sees Derek Tinsley take 2 steps back, and he comes right after. Tennessee's lucky that Kentucky didn't get a turnover on that play.
Yeah, had he caught it, he probably would have been shaken loose. Casey goes into the shotgun. Gonna survey the field. Got pressure. Got a pass off the middle. It's complete. Cedric Houston down the sidelines and got a first down all the way down inside, right around the 10-yard line. We'll see exactly where they say spotted, just about a yard outside. There's a flag back here, though, at the 29-yard line. So hang on. Here comes the official ruling.
Offside against the defense.
5 times.
Decline. The play results in a first down.
18-yard gain. That was the 5th offside. And Terrence, you've got to be right. They've got to be going on voice, because if they're looking at the football, they don't make that mistake.
And a good call by Randy Sanders. They've got man coverage on the wide receivers outside. Just run them straight down the field. Leaves a lane for Cedric Houston, and a good pickup for Tennessee.
Volunteers now, first down and 10 to go, marching with the football. The official line of scrimmage is the 12. Good surge by the Tennessee line, and Cedric Houston gets through for about 4, down to about the 8-yard line, before Otis Grigsby, defensive end, made the stop. 4-yard pickup. Second down and 6 to go. They can make a first down at the 2-yard line.
And I don't expect Tennessee to throw the football down there in the orange area on this drive. I think they're going to go with their 2 tights, their jumbo set, and try to pound this in with Cedric Houston.
Got one receiver set to the left. Everybody else is packed in, including the I backfield. Casey looks it over. Stands up. He's going to throw the fade pattern. Flags are down. Tony Brown on the fade pattern in the corner of the end zone. But a flag was dropped immediately.
I think they're going to call holding on Derek Tatum outside on Tony Brown.
Hooked him, maybe.
We have offside against the defense.
Incredible.
Lined up in the neutral zone. The penalty is half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Remember, the head coach played 15 years in the NFL as an offensive lineman. You know how he feels about motion and offside penalties. He has just seen Kentucky flagged for the 6th offside penalty in the first half.
And like you said, the penalties have extended the Tennessee drives. As much a part of the drives as the big plays.
Tremendous part. They've gotten at least a couple of first downs just on offside penalties. They run the right side down to about the 4-yard line. Cedric Houston, before he's driven back by Ronnie Riley, the middle linebacker, 254-pounder.
And Tennessee just trying good power football to try to put it in the end zone.
Ball's up 7-0, trying to extend that right now. The wind is blowing at their back. Cedric Houston going to the sidelines. Jabari Davis comes in. Davis a little bigger, a little stronger as far as the orange zone is concerned. Nothing there, though. Nothing there. Morris Lane made the stop. Tennessee has picked up its efficiency in the orange zone in the last 8 games. They've scored 23 of the last 27 times in there.
And they bring Whitten in motion, and Kentucky sends everybody to that side, and Jabari Davis tries to bounce it outside. There's nothing there for Tennessee.
All right, you're looking now at a 3rd and 1. They've got to get to the 2-yard line for a first down. 4th down, a correction on that 4th down, and they are going to go for it.
Be careful. Tennessee may slip Jason Whitten out and throw him the ball in the end zone.
They're going to gamble and go for it, and they drive down to, looks like a 1.5-yard line, which should be enough with Jabari Davis. They needed the 2. It looks like they got inside the 2 by a half yard, and they did.
And a good lead block there by Troy Fleming. Catches the defender in the hole, and Jabari Davis does the rest on his own.
He made the last yard on sheer power. And he had to have that yard.
And a good gamble by Tennessee.
Well, that sends a message. Tennessee up by 7 and wanting 7 more right here. Casey Clausen turns, gives to his tailback. Diving! Fumbled it right into the hands of a Kentucky Wildcat who dropped it. And they're still fighting for it. I think the Kentucky player actually caught it. And then Tennessee picked it up.
My guess is it looks as though they signaled touchdown right as the ball was coming out of his hand.
A Kentucky player caught it, dropped it. Tennessee fell on it, but I think they called it a touchdown on the dive. That's what happened. He broke the plane of the goal line, and that's all you have to do. Kentucky is furious.
They just saw the replay on the jumbotron.
Let's see if he broke the plane. He did drop it, or just as he got up in the air, but watch carefully. He's up. There's the goal line. Still got it. Now he turns it loose. It was a good call. There's the Kentucky player catching it. He drops it. They battle around for it, but by this time the referee has already said it's a touchdown. And so Kentucky a little bit upset. They also had a player shaken up on the field. But coming off under his own power, there's Jabari. Boy, that was confusing down there for a moment, but when it was all said and done, it appeared to be a good call. He did break the plane before he turned it loose. You could see that on a very good angle, very good camera work as we saw him break the plane. And while in the air, he turned it loose. Kentucky player caught it in the end zone and dropped it. And then there was a scramble for it by the official that already said touchdown. Alex Walls adds the extra point, and it is a 14-0 football game here in Knoxville. Let's take another look, and I think you'll see that he did break the plane.
Breaks the plane right there, and the ball's out. The referee had a good look at it. He's looking right down the line, called it, no question.
Well, Jabari was up in the air where he was easy to see. All right, we'll take a break by telling you Tennessee's jumped in front 14-0 in the Wildcats in Knoxville on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here in Knoxville, Tennessee leading 14-0 over the Kentucky Wildcats. 9:03 to go in the second period. Let's go back and take another look at the Tennessee touchdown, or was it?
Davis over the top. Watch the line judge. Right down the goal line. He sees it, starts to signal for touchdown.
Of course, all you got to do is break the plane, and the millisecond you do that, it is a touchdown. It appears to be a good call. Tennessee scores. Kentucky's going to say the call was too quick. It's playoff time in high school football, and CSS has the most exciting action. This Friday night, tune in at 7:30 Eastern for the quarterfinals of the Georgia State playoffs, right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. There's the drive, helped by offside penalties. Kentucky has had 6 offside penalties in the first half here, and we're still got a lot of time to go. They kick it off. They kick it away from Abney. They kick it toward Beach. Did a beautiful job. So Colquitt did a great job on the punt earlier, and now Walsh does a great job on the kickoff. They want to keep it out of the hands of one of the most dangerous men in America, Derek Abney, and they're doing a good job. By the way, Abney is the Kentucky single-season all-purpose yardage leader with 1,841. He passes Craig Yeast, who had 1,831.
Not shabby at all.
There he is, number 12. Kentucky folks call him White Lightning. The handoff goes to the tailback, and he's up across the 20. Artos Penner picking up about 3 or 4 before he is stopped, and Penner comes in averaging about 123. He is a legitimate, I heard Bill Kiper say the other day, at least a high second-round pick.
And if you're Tennessee, you can't relax with a 14-point lead because this Kentucky offense is so potent, they can put points on the board in the blink of an eye.
Abney can score, Penner can score, and they have others. The big guy, the hefty-lefty back throwing, bad pass. Slant across the middle. Tennessee had 2 men converging on the intended receiver, who was Chase Harp, the tight end. Tennessee had it pretty well covered.
And that's been one of the knocks on him, is when he's hot, and when he's not, he's not.
His passes, for the most part today, have been a little high. Some of them have been real high, as a matter of fact. He also got called once for intentional grounding. 3rd down and 6, but he's got a great arm, and for a guy his size, incredible mobility. Goes into the shotgun. Got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Stands back, wants the quick throw, got the quick whistle instead, and flags start flying everywhere. Tennessee's pointing downfield toward Kentucky, but that doesn't mean anything.
False start against the offense. Movement in the offensive line prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
It turned out Tennessee was right, but we have to wait for the official ruling, and you heard it.
And you have to wonder, look at the penalties, 8 penalties for 40 yards. Kentucky's coming off an open date. You have to wonder if that open date isn't affecting the way they're playing here in the first half.
Maybe a little over-eager, too. A little too much adrenaline flowing. Came in calling this their Super Bowl. Here is Lorenzen, missed by one man, chased by another, got his pass away, and it's complete. It's going to be short of a first down, though. Aaron Boone, the wide receiver. Good job by the big guy, and his 300 pounds is the reason he's still standing.
And that's one of the things. That's why he's so valuable. Stephen Marsh is going to come right, Jabril Wilson right in. He just swats him off like a net.
Wilson weighs about 180. He weighs 300. Pakalak will go back now into, there's Aaron Boone. Pakalak in punt formation, and Mark Jones back to receive inside his 40. The kick is away. Oh, it's a nice one, and he's kicking into a slight wind. They're going to let it go. Oh, yeah! So very, very close. Kentucky within inches of downing it at the 1-inch line. You know what that is? It's a 71-yard kick, folks. 71 yards.
Boy, and Mark Jones thanks his lucky stars for not fielding that ball. He should field it. You don't want them to down that ball on the 1-yard line.
Show you how close this came. There it is. It's trying to die right there. Kentucky close.
He kicked it so far, he outkicked his coverage.
Yes, he did. We'll take a break. Tennessee leading Kentucky in the first half, 14-0 in Rocky Top. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here in Neyland Stadium, Tennessee leading Kentucky 14-0. A little over 7 to go in the second quarter of play. Pakalak's numbers. 2 kicks averaging 62. That 71-yarder, by the way, is a career long. Yeah, that will usually 71 yards get you a career long.
And he's saying, hey, I'm done for the day. I like that average.
I'm going to take that to the house. Tennessee goes on offense. Witten is split way out here to the bottom of your screen. 2 receivers set to the top. Casey may be checking off. It appears that he is. Turns, gives off to his tailback, who's going to try to slide outside. There's a flag down. Cedric Houston, the ball carrier.
No, that's a hat down on the field.
Is it?
Somebody's hat blew off their head.
Well, it was orange. In the sunshine it was. No flag, so give him a total of 4 yards on that carry. Make it 2nd down and 6. With the ball at the 24-yard line. Remember, it was kicked into the end zone, so they started at the 20. Here goes Brown in motion to the top of the screen. Give it off again to the tailback. Across the 25 to the 26, a pickup of a couple. Tennessee still trying to pound that football, although, Terrence, I think you are correct. I think if they want to throw, there's some lanes open for them.
I think the middle of the field on play action pass is going to be open. They've got their safeties up close, committed to stop the run. The middle of the field, I think, would be open on a post route.
We got Jabari and Houston out of there, have we not right now? 2 receivers set to the bottom of the screen. Tinsley is in a tailback now. Fleming is also back there. Fleming back in the backfield with it. Here is stand-up throwing out in the flat, complete out to the 31-yard line to Leonard Scott. It's good enough for a first down by about a half a yard or so.
And Leonard Scott could get 2 catches on this one catch. He bobbles the ball, but still comes up with it at the end. Good protection. They go right outside to the little 5-yard.
Brought it in. Good catch. Yeah. It becomes first down and 10 to go. He got a first down by about a half yard. Boy, I was expecting a colder day than this. Turned out to be pretty pleasant here in Knoxville. Here's a good run by Tinsley. Tinsley's needing one more block. It's down the sideline. They finally corner him in over there, but what a great run by Derek. Where have you been, Tinsley?
Just an exceptional run. A flag on the play.
Flag is dropped at the 45-yard line. We may have holding. Tennessee had someone out there trying to seal off a block and may have got caught. I'm just guessing on that right now, but it looks like that might be the case, and it's coming back.
And there was a question as to whether Derek Tinsley would play in this game. He was nursing a stress fracture.
We have holding against the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The yardage for the play is enough for a first down.
Well, that's kind of odd. Got a penalty and got a first down.
Hey,
but he picked up, 31 yards on it, so it was from the spot of foul. And it moves into the 45, so it is enough for a first down, despite the penalty. Double receiver set, bottom of your screen. Casey Clausen. Not 100% healthy, but a gutty player and playing very well in this one. Hands off to his tailback. They try to cut back at Cedric Houston, and Cedric gets close to midfield. Got about 3 before the middle of the catch. Defensive line brings him down. These teams have been meeting for quite a long time. This is meeting number 98. I vaguely remember that first one, Terrence. It was a day about like this.
And I can tell you, being a former player that played in this series, it's tough. Tennessee, Kentucky is as tough as it gets in the SEC.
Line of scrimmage is actually the 49-yard line on the Tennessee side. Second down. They need about 6 for a first down. And the ball is right there, but Kentucky's defender is right there on Montrell Jones. Collision just as the ball got there. You can't say he should have caught it because the defense was very solid.
And Kentucky able to get pressure on Clausen. They've got somebody in his face, and the defender gets there at the same time the ball gets there.
Barres was the man there.
They go with the deep slant to Montrell Jones, and the defender just makes a great play on the ball.
So here comes a key down, third down, and they need 6. You got to figure pass. Got to believe that's the way they'll go. Montrell goes in line. Motion toward the line of scrimmage. They throw it outside here to Tinsley. Tinsley's got the first down and a couple of yards to spare, and a flag comes down. He may have an out-of-bounds hit. Cumbie, Quintus Cumbie, the free safety, made the stop.
Or did he get some of the face mask that allowed him to bring down Tinsley?
You called it. Being a receiver, you're kind of up on those things, aren't you? You watch for that. Protect my man, huh?
Definitely up on anything that's going to give a receiver an advantage over a defensive back.
Against the defense, the penalty would be 5 yards, tacked on against after the end of the run, first down.
Actually, could have been
I'm not sure that shouldn't have been a 15-yard penalty. I think he uses the face mask
to bring him down. Oh, yeah, that probably should have been. Certainly spun him all the way down with the mask. It's now 1st and 10 for the Vols. They fake the reverse to Tinsley. They throw. Got a man wide open. Hugging the sidelines. Touchdown. Beautiful play. Tinsley.
A great call by Tennessee. They've got Kentucky so confused they won't be able to figure it out on the next play.
They can't figure it out on film when they see this one.
Randy Sanders sends everybody to the right side to the left side of the field, brings Tinsley back underneath, and a great throw and catch by he and Casey Clausen.
Tinsley not only caught it, he made a great fake to begin with.
Great fake, great job of staying in bounds and tight walking the sideline to the end zone.
Well, we're finally seeing the Derek Tinsley we thought we'd see at the beginning of the year. The extra point is up by Alex Walls, and it is good. Let's take another look. Now watch closely.
Great call here. Fake the reverse to Jomo Fagan. Looking at Montrell Jones going to the left side of the field, and Derek Tinsley's wide open.
Tinsley did sort of a little pause as he was cutting across, too, and I think that froze the Kentucky defenders. We'll take a break by telling you Tennessee's out front 21-0 over the Kentucky Wildcats, and you're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. It's Derek Tinsley who scored that last touchdown to put Tennessee up front 21-0. And there's your drive, 80 yards, consumed 3 minutes, 4 seconds, 8 plays to get there. Let's take another look at the touchdown. It was a great call.
Great call. The fake reverse here to Jomo Fagan sends Montrell Jones to the left side of the field. Derek Tinsley to the right. And he's in the end zone.
Boy, did he do a good job to stay in bounds. Casey's happy.
And Derek Tinsley says, hey, somebody tell the coach when you need me, I'm back here on the bench.
Hey, folks, if you're a Tennessee fan, don't get overconfident, because Tennessee was down 21-0 to Kentucky last year and turned it around. So Kentucky has to remember that. Here's a guy who could get you back into it real quick, but I'm sure they're going to try to kick away from him. That's Abney, Derek Abney, the nation's best at returning kicks. They'll probably, well, they're going to kick down to Beach. Beach will take it at about the 7-yard line. It is Abney. Correction on that. It is Abney. And Abney gets across the 25. They switched positions over there, which was a good idea. And Abney wound up with the football. The Georgia Bulldogs have locked up a trip to the SEC championship game, but they're not looking past the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. You can see the re-air of this rivalry next tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern right here on CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. All right, the Kentucky offense down 21-0 to Tennessee. Now goes to work. Lorenzen gives it off to Penner, and he's trying to slide outside. Does get back to the 30 and the 31-yard line before he is brought down. 4 yards on the pickup, making it 2nd and 6.
And 4 tough yards. Just a tough running back.
Gabriel Wilson made the stop finally from the secondary.
Bounces it outside. Good vision. Good job there making Eddie Moore miss, and just tough running. Holding on to the football, trying to get all that he can get.
Mark Jones also coming up to assist on that one. 2nd down. The give in the middle. Not much. Not much at all. Tennessee stacked him. There's Eddie Moore among others getting up off of that one. Maybe a yard. Demetrin Veal also there.
And you have to believe that Kentucky sooner or later is going to have to abandon the running on this drive and try to go to the air to put some points on the board. 3 minutes to go till halftime. They need to put at least 7 on the board.
All right, it's 3rd down. They need 4 yards for a 1st down. Tennessee crowding the line of scrimmage, expecting a run. They're going to get a pass. Tennessee trying to get pressure on him and may have touched the football. I think somebody got a tip on it, maybe Whiteside. Big play that time. It looked like he was going to have time, but at the last second, the hand went up, and it looked like Whiteside got a piece of it. And so Kentucky will have to kick.
And that's one of the things that they worked on in practice is we can't get him down, but when he throws, get up in the air. Because he's got kind of a release from the side. You can get up sometimes and block those balls.
Mark Jones will go back now. Pakalak's last punt was for 71 yards. He gets another one away. This is not going to be 71 yards. It's going to be short, but take a good bounce, and Jones will take it on the bounce and move it forward to about the 31 or 2-yard line, where Tennessee will put it in play. And they're going to have about 2 minutes and a little over, 2:38 to work in the first half of play. Tennessee out front 21-0. Remember, the offense got started slowly. In fact, they didn't get started until almost the 8-minute mark. Kentucky took the opening drive and held on to the football for over 7 minutes. Didn't get anything out of it. But then Tennessee came on, had 1 series, and had to kick right back, and finally got on track. Really, the big play that got them on track was the pass from Clausen to Montrell Jones, which covered about 26 yards. Clausen is now number 2 on the UT career passing charts with 6,436 yards. He has passed our old buddy Andy Kelly. Here's Clausen throwing the screen out on the left side to Cedric Houston, going to the sidelines and out of bounds, a yard and a half or so shy of a first down, run out by David Johnson. Ran into Andy Kelly, who was, of course, a teammate of yours, Terrence, and you're great buddies of his. He's now playing for Detroit in the Arena League.
And Randy Sanders going with his perimeter offense. They use a little screen out here to Cedric Houston. He does a good job of setting up his blocks so he can get all that he can get and get outside.
Makes it now a second and not more than a yard, maybe shade over a yard. All right at the 40. Clausen gives it to his tailback. Not much there, but enough for a first down, it appears, by maybe a half yard. He moved it forward. Cedric did for a first down. So the chains are waved downfield, and it stops the clock at 2:19. Otis Grigsby made the tackle.
And I think that was more inside. Anthony Herrera had sealed the corner, and Cedric bounces it outside. Looked like the lane was still in between the tackle.
Clock starts running again with the movement of the chains, and so it's 2 minutes and 5 seconds and ticking. Don't have much time to run the football. They're going to have to throw it to it long. They're looking. It's going to be too long. Intended for Montrell Jones, but just a little too much on that one by Casey. And it was Cumbie back there with him doing a pretty good job in coverage for the Wildcats. This is the final game of the season for both teams' regular season and the final game period for Kentucky. But they've had a great run this year. Tennessee looking for another bowl bid. Even though they have lost 4 games, still one of the more attractive teams in the nation when it comes to bowl appearances. Certainly the most injured team in America. 18 starters have been injured at one time or another this year. Incredible. Here's a pass out. Complete to Montrell Jones, run out of bounds. Stopping the clock at 1:46. Good for 12 yards.
And I was thinking Tennessee would go with their hurry-up offense, but they're just casually dinking the ball downfield. Good throw there by Clausen. Good catch by Montrell Jones. They've got minute 46 seconds and still have 3 timeouts.
What little wind there is right now, and it's a pretty good breeze. I'd say maybe 12, 15 miles an hour would be to their back. It may not be that strong. That's at the top of the stadium. We're looking at the flags. It's probably not that strong down on the floor of the stadium. They go in the shotgun. Casey looking. Gonna run with it. Stumbles, gets down. Flag is back here in the secondary, back here in what would have been the Tennessee backfield, and we'll have to wait and see what that call is going to be. But the flag is back at the 45.
My guess is that's going to be holding on one of the offensive linemen. Somebody had to hold to get Casey out of that little log jam right there.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
So now with a minute 36, Tennessee finds themselves looking at long yardage, and they're going to call a timeout. It can hit you from many different areas. We've seen them do it against good teams, very good teams, like Georgia, like Florida, like LSU. Clausen stands up in the shotgun, needs to go deep downfield, going to air it out. Here's got a long pass just over the head of the intended receiver, Leonard Scott. It would have taken a perfect throw down the sideline.
And just as you said, Randy Sanders comes back and takes a shot down the field to Leonard Scott, and Casey throws it wisely out of bounds.
Kentucky had 2 men coming over to cover Leonard that time. Good shot of Clausen in the huddle. Some question about whether the tight end, Jason Witten, will turn pro or not. He's normally the favorite target. We haven't seen much of him today. They haven't been in a position to throw to the tight end to any degree. Here's a pass up to Troy Fleming, and there's nothing there. He caught it, but no gain to any extent. That keeps the clock running. 1:12 and ticking away. Tennessee probably down now to just kind of willing to let this thing go. minus 5 yards to be exact on that play. So it's 3rd down and about a city block for a first down.
Yeah, I think if you're Philip Fulmer, you don't want to give Kentucky any kind of opportunity to take one to the house on you off of a turnover. So just run it up in the middle and take it in to halftime 21-0.
3 of them starters. Here's Clausen. Gonna run with it. Slide, Casey. And he goes down. The clock continues to run with 30 seconds. Now they stop the clock at 28. Another look.
And they're going to take a shot down the field. There's nothing there. The pocket collapses and Casey takes off. And you don't normally see a quarterback look over his shoulder when he's running for offensive lineman, but Clausen's not the swiftest of foot.
Big junior from California, Casey Clausen. There will be a time in this ball game we probably will see James Banks some, especially if Tennessee can maintain a margin, and see Banks on that quarterback as they start looking to get him some more playing time.
And you would hope that they would be able to do that, but this is a Tennessee football team that had a 14-point lead on Arkansas and saw that game going into so many overtimes I don't even bring it up.
14 points in the 4th quarter.
And the one knock on this defense is the fact that they have been guilty of giving up the big play. So there's still plenty of opportunities for Kentucky in the second half to put some points on the board.
There's James Banks, great athlete. His future at Tennessee may be quarterback, it may be wide receiver, but the coaching staff and Philip Fulmer pretty much have said this guy has got to be on the field somewhere next year.
I think it'll be a quarterback. I think given the situation he's been thrown into, he's a true freshman. I remember when I was a true freshman, we didn't want to play. We were looking for a red shirt.
They do kick it to Abney. They try to pin him to the sidelines, and they do a good job of that. So Kentucky will have the football with 18 seconds to work here. And again, they're in a position where they cannot afford to throw something up there and have it intercepted and returned. So we'll see how they play it. The punt was 36 yards. The return was 6 yards. Sun-baked crowd here for the most part. A few in the shade over here on the western side where we're located, the press box side. But it's turned out to be a lot better day than we had anticipated temperature-wise. Shane Boyd has gone in at quarterback here. Don't think Lorenzen is hurt. They're just going to let him do the kneel down. Big guy's too big to kneel down, isn't he? Lorenzen says, I don't kneel down.
If I kneel down, I can't get up.
It's unlike most Kentucky-Tennessee games weather-wise. It seems most of them are played cloudy, cold, windy, snowing. A lot of them have been played in sleet. This one's pretty nice. Here's the kick all the way into the end zone. They're going to come out of it. Tennessee told him to stay in there, but he's coming out and making a good move across the 30 down the sidelines. Corey Larkins. Corey said, no, thank you. I'm bringing this baby out of here. And he did a great job. He returned it 34 yards.
As you said, two guys signal for him to stay in. He says, no, I don't touch it often. He brings it out.
The Tennessee first half possessions. First time they had the football, nothing, but then touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. So I would think Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, is pretty well pleased right here. There was a flag down on that play, but we're still awaiting. The officials are discussing it. And perhaps he would be kind enough to tell us exactly what the situation is.
On the return, illegal block in the back against the kicking team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Against the kicking
team. Well, penalty number 10 for Kentucky.
Whatever, but that's highly unusual for the kicking team to have a block in the back. Lawson is now second on the UT career completions chart, 515 completions. He has now passed Andy Kelly in that department. He hands off this time to his tailback, who crashes across the 45. Cedric gets up to about the 45, where it'll be a second down, about 8 yards to go.
And we expected to see a lot of Cedric Houston today. Kentucky's really committed to stop the run, so Randy Sanders has gone to the passing game and come up big with 21 points.
Lawson with an eye backfield, brings a man in motion. Tony Brown toward the line of scrimmage, hands off to his tailback, who got a little daylight and then got driven back, but I got forward motion for about 3 yards. A little late on the whistle there. That should have been blown a little bit earlier. You can get somebody hurt when you keep driving back like that.
And as I said, Kentucky really committed to stopping the run. And right there, the play should be blown dead.
Yeah. Way too late on the whistle. There is Cedric going to the sidelines now. It's 3rd down and 5. They need a first down. They're in great field position right here to keep a drive going. Let's see if Casey goes to the air. He's got 4 receivers, 3 to the top of your screen. Stands back in the pocket, looks, fires, got his man, Jason Witten. Tight end down the sidelines and inside the 35-yard line for a first down. Cumbie made the stop, but not until the big guy got 17 yards.
A good throw and catch by the junior Casey Clausen and the junior Jason Witten. Clausen throws this ball only where Witten can catch it, and because of Witten's size, he really shields the defender, able to make the catch and picks up some yak yards after the catch.
That's why he's considering the NFL early right there. But that's not final. He has until January 9th to make a decision on that. Clausen probably will talk to him.
Oh, he will lobby him every day.
Jason, come on back. Here's a delay in the middle. It's going to get a little yardage to Troy Fleming carrying the football. Couple on the play. It'll be a second down situation. We're early in the second half of play. There was some question about the crowd. Would they fill it up here today? Well, they have. Another crowd of in excess of 100,000. Halftime was devoted primarily to recognizing the retiring Doug Dickey. What a wonderful job he's done as athletic director. One-time head coach here, of course, and did a great job there. Doug is stepping aside at the end of the school year, and whoever replaces him's got big shoes to fill. Here is dive play off left tackle by Derek Tinsley. Hit by Otis Grigsby. Got 4.
And Tinsley's so valuable. This guy can line up at wide receiver, line up at running back. Threw a pass against Georgia for a touchdown. There's so much you can do with this guy.
He's a very strong guy. He's not that big, but he, as you saw right there, moved the pile.
And very unselfish, really understands his ability and what he can do with the ball, but says, hey, I'll do whatever it takes for this football team to win games.
Jason Witten in motion, stops behind his right tackle, then they give the delay in there, and flag comes down as Derek Tinsley carries it. But there is a flag. In fact, a couple of them.
And I think this is going to be against Tennessee.
Motion against the Volunteers will set it back 5, assuming Kentucky accepts. It'll be a 3rd and 5 situation. Here's the official.
If illegal formation against the offense, not enough players on the line of scrimmage, that penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, so they're going to decline it because it brings up a 4th down. It would have been 3rd and 5. So it's 4th down now and about 5 to go. So good decision, but Tennessee's going to go for it, Terrence.
And Tennessee was flagged a lot for that last week, and Phil Fulmer said it was kind of a gray area. They're focusing on that this year, but felt like Will Offenhusel, the right tackle, may have been just off the line just a little bit.
Well, yards almost off of it this time. Here's Clausen throwing. Got it! First down. Kentucky player trying to bring Tony Brown down and fighting with him a little bit. Could almost have gotten a flag there, but it's a first down. That was a good call. Tony Brown made a good play. Good pass from him, from Clausen. It's 8 yards and the first down.
A good call. They're bringing pressure. They're man-to-man. He runs a little quick out. Get some separation from the DB. That's what you want. If you're a wide receiver, get some separation. Give the quarterback a throwing lane.
Kind of a strange throw by Clausen. It was sidearm. There's Tony on the sidelines. Tennessee moves it. A punt would have made it, if they kicked it into the end zone, would have only gained them 8 yards, so they decided to go for it. Incomplete this time on the slant across the middle to James Banks. Now there's the quarterback we talked about in the first half, who might someday be a receiver here at Tennessee, or he might be a quarterback. That remains to be seen, but he's a great athlete, that's for sure, but he couldn't bring this one in.
Max protection, the quick slant to Banks, and just thrown a little bit behind the quarterback. Or do we?
Quarterback to quarterback.
Let's just call him Slash.
Second down and 10 to go for Tennessee, leading 21-0. Trying to drive on Kentucky inside the Cats' 20-yard line. Clausen with an eye backfield. One receiver set to the right. They go to that one receiver, and it's incomplete. Crowd wanted interference, and we'll try to take another look at it for you because it very well might have been. There was some pushing down there on James Banks. Banks, I think, is saying that he was interfered with.
I thought Leonard Burris may have gotten his hands on James Banks at the last moment.
Right there. Now, they may have ruled that he couldn't have caught it, but you never know. Banks not happy with it, though. It brings up a 3rd and 10. They probably would go for a field goal if they don't make this first down. Is signaling for everybody to get into position. Got 2 receivers on each side. Got a little timeout for extended. When he moved out of the pocket, he had no protection at all, and Dion Holt, the backup defensive end, a 228-pounder, made the stop. -9 on that play.
Overall, Tennessee has done a good job protecting Clausen. He just comes free. Anthony Herrera does not get a pad on him, and he's unabated to the quarterback.
So Alex Walls will attempt the extra point. What little wind we have right now at the top of the stadium is blowing right directly into his face. But as I said, down on the field, when you see flags down there, it doesn't look it's that strong. It's going to be a 44-yard effort. He got it up there. He got enough on it. Is it? No good. Like it tailed off a little bit to the right. So that's the first one he's missed in quite some while. He had kicked 6 straight prior to this. Now, he did have an injury earlier on in the year, but you have to say right now he's a healthy guy, so he just missed that one. We'll take a break here in Knoxville with 9:43 remaining in quarter number 3. And the ball's up by 3 touchdowns. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Well, there's the story. Tennessee 21-0. Ball's not happy with that last sequence, though, because they got in great scoring position and didn't get anything out of it. Alex Walls missed his field goal. You saw Seth Riggin, the holder, trying to wave it back in, but he couldn't quite get it in there. Boyd is in now at quarterback. Lorenzen, I don't think, is injured. He just is perhaps not playing as well as they would like right now. And Boyd completes his pass to his tight end, Chase Hart. So Boyd rolls out and makes the throw, 10 yards. I don't detect anything wrong with Lorenzen. Do you, Terrence?
I think Guy Morris and his Kentucky staff, they just want to get something going on offense, and it wasn't going with Jared Lorenzen, so why not give Boyd a try?
Shane Boyd is in. He is 6'2", 239-pound sophomore, so he's a big guy also. Rolls away from the action, gives it off in the middle, and is going to be Penner. Artos Penner picking up some yardage, positive yardage in the middle of the line. Got 5, as a matter of fact. Penner just having a splendid year as a tailback for the Cats.
A splendid year, but yet to get on track today, due in part that he set out the first quarter and the fact that Kentucky is normally a balanced offense. Today they're not doing anything throwing the football, so Tennessee's stacking it in to stop the run.
2nd down and 4. He got close to 6, and he's going to get a little bit more yardage. He's going to be a little shy, about 2 yards shy of a first down. Dimitri Veal made the tackle for Tennessee with help. We've got 8 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in quarter number 3 here in Knoxville. Final home game of the year for Tennessee Vols. Final game period for the Kentucky Wildcats. Tennessee had 20 seniors go through the tee today for the last time. Guys who contributed an awful lot. 7 of them started on defense. 2 of them started today on offense. So Kentucky looks at a 3rd and 2. And they're going to get the first down and then plenty more to go with it. As they cross midfield into Tennessee territory, Penner run out of bounds around the 47-yard line.
And Tennessee has this defended pretty well. This is all Penner. Sees it stacked inside, bounces it outside, and does what good backs do, pick up first down.
Saw there were too many orange shirts and said, I'm going another direction, and he picked up his first down. So the Cats have got something going here. Tennessee's leads 21-0, but that's not perhaps safe. Here's Boyd back in the pocket, got rushed, got hit at the last second, and almost intercepted. Tennessee had Jabari Greer over there, right where the sun and the shadow meet, intended for Derek Abney.
And Boyd, this ball floats on him. Just like Lorenzen, the ball floating on him today, really high.
Greer would have been long gone had he caught that one because there were no Cats anywhere near him. In front of him at least. Boyd now looks at a 2nd and 10, spreads the field with a 5-receiver set. 3 left, 2 right. It's a high snap, gets his pass away. It's complete, and it's going to be a first down and then some. As Aaron Boone carries it, Tennessee took a shot at him, didn't get him, and he got 15 yards. So the new quarterback's moving the team.
Kentucky's oh so lucky. High snap, and he throws that ball way out in front of Boone. But a good catch, a good handling of the snap, and he throws this ball a little bit out front, able to pick it up and pick up the first down.
Tennessee missed a couple of tackles there, but he would have had the first down anyway. Boyd goes into the shotgun, spreads the field, keeps it straight up the middle, and not much. Tennessee not fooled on that one. Amori Hand in particular got a yard. Tried a little trickery, spreading the field out with 5 receivers and then running.
No question he's going to run this football, but runs right into the heart of the Tennessee defense and Amori Hand.
Crowd now doing the wave, or trying to. They need to be standing and cheering for the defense right here. It is 2nd and 9. Give to the tailback. Not much. Tennessee stacked it pretty good. Led by Eddie Moore, got 3. Artos Penner got 3 yards. And that brings up a big down.
Going to bring up another big 3rd down, and Kentucky's going to have to put this football in the air. I just don't think they can get it done here running the football.
Penner's got 9 carries, 40 yards. Did not play because of a infraction suspension for the first quarter. So they need 6. Boyd's back in the pocket. He's looking. He's firing. Incomplete. He wouldn't have had the first down anyway. Ernest Sims hit by Wilson coming up from safety for Tennessee.
You're exactly right. This isn't going to pick up the first down anyway. He goes with the safe dink. I think he feels the pressure. And Jabril Wilson separates the ball from the wide receiver.
Down 21-0. They have no hesitation about going for it here. A punt would mean very little since the ball is on the 29-yard line. Unless they can kick it out around the 2 or 3 or down it. So they're going to go for it. Crowd roars, maybe the biggest roar of the day. Boyd got plenty of time. Throws broken up. Aaron Boone was the intended receiver. Tennessee had Larkins in the neighborhood. There is Greer also over there. So Tennessee's defense rises to the occasion, and the crowd shows their appreciation.
Kentucky able to put together their best drive of the second half, and Tennessee defense says no, no. He one-hops it to Boone. Not even close.
So a big stand for the Tennessee defense. And we'll take a break here as Tennessee huddles around Randy Sanders by telling you the Vols are leading in the third quarter, 21-0. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Blossom still operating at quarterback with a 21-0 lead. We've got a lot of football left. We are still in third quarter with 5 minutes, 54 seconds to go. They give it off to Cedric Houston. He goes across the 30 to about the 31. A couple of yards for the Tennessee tailback. Kentucky has, as Terrence has pointed out numerous times, obviously stacked everything to stop the run here today, and they've done a pretty good job in that department, but Tennessee's come up with some big pass plays. Kentucky jumps again, and the flags go down. That would be either 7 or 8 offside penalties, if indeed it is against Kentucky. Maybe Tennessee drew them off. We'll have to wait for the official ruling, but here it comes.
Offside with the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Then one of Tennessee's best plays today.
That's his 7th offside. And as you said, Randy Sanders says, let's go back to what sustained drives in the first half. Voice inflection, draw them offside.
Makes it a 2nd and 3.
Right there on the left side of your screen, not even watching the football.
Much more manageable situation for the offensive coordinator and for the quarterback, who's got a standard I formation and one receiver on each side. He gives it off to his tailback, and he's close to the first down. Depends on the spot. He needs to move it to the 39. Cedric Houston got 3.
Kentucky's just asking Tennessee to throw the football downfield. They've got everybody up, stopping the run. Tennessee needs to take a couple shots down the field, see if they can't loosen that defense up a little bit.
Probably didn't get the best spot in the world on that one, so they're going to have to bring the chains in to see just how close it is. They're stretched. It's enough by about an inch. First down and 10 to go for the Volunteers. Offense has got Derek Tinsley more involved today, and it has been a major, major difference in the way they have looked. 2 receivers set to the left. Clausen gives off, makes it in the middle, throws long. It's going to be off the fingertips of Tony Brown.
A lobby for the throw downfield. They call it, they throw it. Tony Brown doesn't come up with it. Run a little crisscross route here with Montrell Jones and Tony Brown, and you got to have that.
This is not to knock the Tennessee receivers. These kids have perhaps a great future, but guys like Stallworth last year would have been in the end zone with that one. You got to make those catches. Jonathan Wade dropped a sure touchdown earlier, and 2 games in a row that has happened. So when that comes around, this offense is going to look a whole lot different. This time they go once again off the hands, this time of Derek Tinsley, who has had a good ball game, but he would have had a first down right there, but just could not catch it.
And Clausen can't buy a completion.
Clausen has got to be saying, why me? Help me out a little bit.
And Tennessee dodges a real bullet here. They go back with Tinsley, and this ball's off his hands, and it's a wonder if it's intercepted by Kentucky.
So now Tennessee looks at a 3rd and 10. You got to go downfield now, and Kentucky's bringing everybody up to the line. They're going to bring a lot of blue. A blue wave's going to be coming at Clausen. He needs to get it away quickly. Got some time, though. Throws out to Tinsley. Tinsley is going to be a yard shy of the first down. David Johnson would not let him maneuver another yard. So it's going to bring up a 4th down.
A good play by David Johnson. Normally you don't see one guy bring down Derek Tinsley.
Normally he can juke his way around for the necessary yardage.
Clausen looking downfield, go with the safe dink, and Tinsley's supposed to make this guy miss.
It's going to bring up 4th down and 1. Is Tennessee going to go for it?
Why not?
I believe they are. The ball is at the 48-yard line. 3:35 remaining in this quarter, which is number 3. Philip Fulmer, I guess, is now maybe saying, let's call a timeout and think about this. Derek Tinsley today at 73 yards. Came up 1 yard shy. Needed 74 at this point, though. While they decide, we'll decide to take a break. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. The clock run down some, and then I've decided to punt. I'm not sure I would feel better about going for it rather than kicking it to Abney. But that's what they're going to have to do. Here is Colquitt kicking. Got it. Might have been partially blocked. Kentucky stormed in there. If not, it was a very poor kick, but they really gained very little. It's a 10-yard kick, and it looked like Bo Smith might have got a piece of it.
I think Bo Smith did get a piece of it.
Colquitt turned slightly to his left. He was going to kick it away from Abney, kick it down the left side of the field, which he did very successfully in the first half. But as it turned out, Smith got a piece of it, and Kentucky's in good field position at the 42-yard line, 43-yard line, where it's 1st down and 10 to go. So Tennessee's defense got to buckle up a bit. Shane Boyd back throws. Tennessee hits it in his tracks. Aaron Boone caught the pass, but the Vols had defenders all over him and no gain on the play. So it's 2nd down and 10.
And we talked about coming into this ball game, the 3 people we felt like were key for Kentucky to win this game. Jared Lorenzen, it's not a factor. He's not even in the game. The kick returning ability of Derek Abney, Tennessee has negated that. And the running ability of Artos Penner. And so far, they've contained him.
Well, they don't hold him here. He gets up to midfield. Eddie Moore brings him down, but along with Keon Whiteside. He got 8 yards, as a matter of fact. But he's going to bring up a big 3rd down and 2.5 or so to go for a first. Another look on the delay.
The draw right up the middle, finds a seam, and just trying to get all he can get, turning his legs.
Length of the football across midfield into Tennessee territory. So it's 3rd down and 2 yards to go for a first. Penner's got 48 yards on 10 carries now. They pitch it. He's trying to sweep. Got hit. Got knocked down. He didn't get it. There's a flag down also. If it's against Kentucky, Tennessee will have to make a decision here. I'm not sure Kentucky won't go for it. Even if it's a 5-yard penalty, they'll probably go for it.
We have holding against the offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, replay 3rd down.
All right, you got to take that penalty since it's a 10-yarder. There's Guy Morris looking on. It puts Kentucky back now, Terrence, into a have-to-throw situation, you would think. Minute 57 remaining in quarter number 3. Kentucky and Tennessee meeting for the 98th time. Last time Kentucky won in this series was in Knoxville, but that was back in 1984. Ball just across the 40. They need 12 yards for a first down. Boyd in the pocket. Got hit just as he threw. Incomplete. Aaron Boone was the intended receiver.
And Corey Larkins really put a wallop on him.
Larkins, another one of those good athletes we probably haven't seen enough of this year. Here is Boone.
He gives Artos Penner the slip.
Larkins crashing in, though, as you'll see, number 23. Watch him there.
And I think Boyd felt the pressure, felt rushed to throw the ball, and one-hopped it.
Pakalak gets his kick away, and it's a pretty good one. Jones comes up and meets it. Takes it. Of a daring catch, but it paid off. He got back to the 25-yard line. Got a little positive yardage on that one. It's a 39-yard kick and a 5-yard return, and the Vol offense quickly is back out on the field. Or will be shortly. With 1:18 remaining in the third quarter. Tennessee up 21-0. Tennessee wants to go bowling, and if they hang on here and win, they certainly will.
And Philip Fulmer was asked about that this week. If that was in your thought process coming in this game, he said, you know what, if we take care of the ball game on Saturday, everything else will take care of itself. That's not an issue that I'm even concerning myself with at this point.
Jason Witten, the tight end, splits out about 10 yards here on the left. They give it to the tailback, Jabari Davis, and he's going to get maybe 3 yards, and that's going to be the end of the line for the Big J train. Starting tomorrow, it is full-blown recruiting time. Coaches can go face-to-face with the recruiters after this game, and they shower. You're going to hear the squeaking of tires leaving the parking lot here as they scatter from coast to coast.
And there's going to be a lot of competition across the country for the top players. There's so much parity in college football this year.
Here's the reverse. Good yardage up across the 40. Leonard Scott, the track man, shows why he's a track man. A little burst up the sidelines by Leonard. It's good for 14 yards.
The senior Leonard Scott out of Zachary, Louisiana, picks up a big gain. And you see why he's one of the fastest in the country. He's taken one step for their 3.
Final seconds of quarter number 3, 32 seconds to go. Tennessee up 21-0 and moving with the football now. Still in their own territory, though. Casey's got one receiver set on each side. He rolls away from it. Got plenty of time. Throws. Dangerous pass, but it's complete. Right on the money to Tony Brown. And right at the first down marker. 11 yards. Ooh, that was a gamble that time. You've got confidence in your arm when you throw this one.
And I would agree. They're running a down and out. He's coming back to the football, and Casey just kind of floats this out there. And they're lucky it's not headed the other way.
That's exactly right. That was an incredibly dangerous throw. But they got away with it and got 11 yards to boot. That's going to be the final play of the third quarter. Here in Knoxville, over 100,000 watching on a gorgeous November day. The Tennessee Vols and the Kentucky Wildcats in their annual battle. The Cats trailing the Volunteers 21-0. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. 2 on the road in the month of November. They remember November. Here's the give on the right side. A little bit of daylight this time for Derek Tinsley, and he gets down to the 41-yard line. You know, Tennessee's done well, Terrence, I think, in the last few games in turnovers or lack of turnovers. And, Tennessee's a +6 in turnovers in its 7 wins. They're a -4 in their 4 losses.
And defensively in the last 2 ball games, they played really well. They shut Vanderbilt out, and about 14 minutes away from shutting out Kentucky. The last time Kentucky was shut out was October 14, 2000 against LSU, 34-0.
Tennessee now 2nd down and 4. Pitch. Not much there. Tinsley turns it into a little something, though, just by twisting. He really should have been hit for a loss. But Cumby finally brings him down. But Derek Tinsley shows his athletic ability. Not a long play, but pretty spectacular when you look at the move.
Yeah, shows his niftiness right there.
And stretching it down, it just is a little bit short of a first down. So it's 3rd and 1. Derek goes to the sidelines. Derek Tinsley. Comfortable to know he'll be back.
If I'm him, I put together me a little highlight reel and I mail it to the offensive coordinator.
Here goes Cedric Houston for the first down. And a little bit more. Tennessee moving with the football, trying to add to their 21-0 lead. And at the same time, trying to kill some clock, to be honest with you. You're at that stage, still a world of time, 13:26. But you got to think now in terms of kind of churning out some yardage on the ground and taking away some clock from Kentucky.
And good blocking by Michael Munoz and Jason Resford on that side, just grading defenders as they move down the field.
2 receivers set to the right, none to the left. Lawson going to stand up and throw, try to catch Kentucky, looking, and it's there. Again, they couldn't hang on. It would have been a good catch by Montrell Jones because the defender was draped around him, but Montrell needs to bring it home.
You got to bring that in.
Had they caught all their passes today, they'd be leading right now about 42-0. You know?
Perfectly thrown. He gets one hand on it. You got to bring that one home.
Leonard Barres was the defender. Montrell's probably saying, give me one more chance, please. And they might. 2nd down and 10. They give it to Cedric Houston, and Cedric was just a step away from breaking that one. Got 3 yards on it, though. Kentucky had sold out everything to the run, and when you break through like that, if you get one more step, you're gone, but he couldn't quite get it. Tennessee looking at 3rd and 8. They would not attempt a field goal from this area. So if they don't make it, they'll probably just go for it. 4th down. Lawson in the pocket. Flags are down everywhere, and the ball is down on the ground, and I think we may have had movement on the left side.
I think it's going to be offside on Kentucky.
You think Cats are going for a national record here on offsides?
That's number 8. If I'm Guy Morris, next year I just play a tape of Casey Clausen's voice and tell my players, when you hear this, don't move.
If offside against the defense, 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
8, the right defensive end. They're going to hear Casey's voice in their sleep.
8 offside penalties, and we've still got 12 minutes to go.
It's simple. Watch the football. When it moves, you move.
So that brings up a different play call here for Randy Sanders. It's 3rd down and 3. You can go for maybe your tight end, maybe a screen pass, or you can run your tailback. They're going to roll and throw. And throw it away. Derek Tinsley, had he just held on for a second longer, Derek Tinsley broke wide open, but he'd already tossed it away. David Johnson was there defending. Now, if you can see in the screen here, you'll see Tinsley at the very end was wide open. But by this time, Casey had already committed to throwing the football away.
And Casey gets a push there at the end and comes up hobbled a little bit. I think Tennessee was supposed to let the guys come through, but just not that quick.
So it brings up 4th down and 2. And they will go for it. Assume they will. They're going to call a timeout to talk about it. There's Randy Sanders, the offensive coordinator, who says, let's discuss things, and brings his quarterback over to the sidelines.
And you see the trainer there rubbing his right shoulder. I think he went down on that last pass on that shoulder.
We'll take a break by telling you Tennessee is leading in the fourth quarter 21-0 here at Neyland Stadium. Happy fans right now looking on. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here to Neyland Stadium. Tennessee, after all of the discussion and the timeout, 2 yards shy of a first down, they decided to kick a field goal. Unless, of course, it's a fake. It would be 42 yards with a slight wind to his back. Alex Walls missed one earlier to the right. Gets this one away. It is good. 42 yards out. So Alex feels better.
Alex feels lucky. Cody Douglas almost fell on that football. Kentucky drove him all the way back to Seth Reagan.
Alex is, I noticed on the I was afraid to say recruiting, but actually on the draft list, he's listed pretty high. Somebody will find him a job in the NFL next year. Yeah, there you go. Big Cody did almost disrupt everything.
And good concentration by Walls. Not pretty, but it's there, given the fact that Cody Douglas is landing his feet saying, do you have a good Thanksgiving?
So Tennessee goes up 24-0. There's Alex, who is a senior. But they've got a kid coming on next year named Will Hoyt, James Will Hoyt from Hendersonville, who is, when he came out of school, considered maybe the #1 kicker in America when he came out of high school.
And Alex Walls was one of those Tennessee casualties. He missed a lot of the beginning of the football season because of a groin injury.
Tennessee leading 24-0, 11:50 remaining in the ball game. If you would like to receive a free Tennessee Volunteers mouse pad, and wouldn't we all, email us at css@cable.comcast.com. Please give us your name and address, and we will send you a mouse pad. I understand thousands of them have been sent out, so it is very nice, as a matter of fact. Do you have one on the way, Terrence?
Yes.
I do too.
And my guess is that Tennessee will try to get James Banks or C.J. Leakin in this ball game. I don't think Kentucky's going to do anything on offense at this point to threaten this 24-0 lead.
They haven't. They have benched their quarterback, Jared Lorenzen. Apparently no injury. He just was ineffective. Tennessee did a good job in coverage, did a good job getting pressure on him, and the few passes that he got off were all, for the most part, very high and certainly uncatchable. So they brought in Shane Boyd, who did move the football a little bit, but not into the end zone. There's number 11 flipping the football on the sidelines. That is James Banks, the freshman from Indianapolis.
Of course, Derek Aveney could change all of that
very quickly. He could keep Clausen in the ball game.
I think this year he returned a kick and a punt for a touchdown on the same day. So, you know, he could easily put Kentucky back in this football game in a hurry.
There's some discussion on the sidelines that maybe Lorenzen did have an ankle sprain or a slight sprain, but he has been moving around down there okay. But we're getting word now from the sidelines that he might have twisted or sprained an ankle. And again, enough wind is blowing on the surface down there apparently to hinder the ball on the tee, so they're going to hold, and Walls will kick off out of the hold. Gets the kick away, and it's a pretty good one. They kick it to Abney. He's at the 5, cutting across field, looking for some daylight. Cuts back. Ooh, boy, is he dangerous. He's so quick. Unbelievably quick. I would think he's got a great career as a receiver in the NFL, Terrence, with that kind of quickness.
No question about where he's going to go when he catches the football. And I think that's why he's so effective as a returner. sets his lane up, and he's, no question, he doesn't dance, he's just straight ahead.
Well, the ball is on the 22-yard line. Lorenzen is back in there. So he is okay physically, apparently. Big guy is back. Gives it off on a reverse. They're trying some trickery here. They're going to try to throw off the reverse, and they're going to do nothing. Tennessee finally just said enough of that. And Tommy Cook hits the dirt. Keon Whiteside said, I've seen all this I want to see. -5 after half the Kentucky team handled the football.
And there you say the trickeration, the double reverse. He's trying to get over to get set up to throw to the tight end, Chase Harp, and Keon Whiteside said, I've seen enough of that.
You're going down. So now it becomes 2nd and 14 for Kentucky. Lorenzen goes into the shotgun. The big lefty fires, got his man out here in the flat. Tennessee missed the tackle. Going to get some extra yardage out of it up to first down territory. Aaron Boone. So Tennessee let him slip out of there. Jabari Greer finally brings him down, but he's going to move the chains. 15 yards. They were 14 shy of a first. They made 50.
And a good job of Aaron Boone of digging it out of the ground.
Clock runs with 10:29 remaining. Wildcats trying to mount some sort of an offense. They haven't been able to do that with any consistency at all today. Thanks primarily to just a great defensive effort by John Chavis' crew. That drive straight ahead on a dive play and got up to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. 5 yards. 3 yards on the pickup. Penner is the ball carrier, Artos Penner, who's been, I think, you could say, pretty well held in check today, Terrence.
I would say so, and he missed the first quarter for whatever reason, and I really think this Kentucky football team has been bothered by the open date. They just don't look sharp offensively.
And again, they look confused there. To just magnify what you were saying, and they have to call a timeout because of the confusion. Big number 22, Jared Lorenzen, is talking with his coaches. And while they talk, we'll take a break by telling you Tennessee leads 24-0 at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here at Neyland Stadium, Tennessee up 24-0. Jared Lorenzen, who missed most of the third quarter, is back in the lineup now. We'd heard maybe a slight twist of the ankle, but doesn't seem to be anything at all wrong with him. He's moving quite well. Here he is, in fact, rolling to his left and throwing, and caught the pass, but then was separated from the football by Jabari Greer. Dropney was really whacked by Jabari, and he's feeling good about himself right now, and well, he should.
And Drobny saying, if you call timeout to call this play, I don't like it. Jabari Greer.
Oh, man, totally defenseless guy, and that's the way you want your corners to come up.
Physical corner play.
Brings up a 3rd and 7. Definitely a passing situation for the big left-hander. Tennessee drops into a zone. Here is some pressure on him. He gets his pass away. Very poorly thrown. Might possibly have gotten a first down had he gotten it out there to Penner. Penner was out where he could work one-on-one, but he didn't get it.
And we've got some tempers flaring.
It's not a good day for Lorenzen, is it?
No, it's not. And like I said, when he's hot, he's hot. And when he's not, he's not.
Well, he's hot right now, maybe at his own teammates in some cases, but he should be hot on himself, too, because he's thrown off target several times today. See some frustration on the Cats' faces right there, including Lorenzen. Mark Jones drops into punt receiving position, and he gets a bounce that he's going to let bounce and get away from wisely, and there's not a great kick by Pakalak. So Tennessee will take over now. They've got 9 minutes and 13 seconds. Let's see if they bring Casey back out. 32 yards on the kick. By the way, now, in the last 102 throws, Tennessee has not had an interception. Most all of those by Casey Clausen. So cutting down on the turnovers, cutting down on interceptions. Banks is in. Banks is in at quarterback. There he is, number 11. Probably going to do a lot of handoff right here in this. Almost juggled that one for a second, and Jabari gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Plucky bobbled it for just a split second. The shadows have completely covered the playing surface now. Still turned out to be a better temperature day, above 50 here today. We were all up bright and early this morning expecting heavy overcoat weather. Well, we have the overcoats on, but don't know that we need them right now.
And I can remember Kentucky games where it was so cold you didn't want to come out of the tunnel.
Again, they run straight ahead. Clock killing time. Jabari Davis, but you do need to get a first down to really kill the clock. There's still a lot of time, 8 minutes and 24 seconds. All you have to do is think back to the Arkansas victory against LSU as to how quickly teams can score. How about that game? Terrence Guy completes 4 passes all day, 2 in the last 20 seconds, and they go to Atlanta in the championship game.
He said,
There's Clausen. Casey's got his overcoat on now.
Casey would say, you know what, it's a little cooler down here than you guys are saying it is. But he's from California.
Yeah, this is frozen tundra weather to him. Whistle stops the play before it ever gets underway.
Delay a game on Tennessee.
Delay of the game against the offense. 25 seconds left expired. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Might have been on Banks. Might have been on the play not getting in time. But anyway, it cost them 5. They're bringing the plays in from the sidelines. You saw him talking to Tony Brown. Tony Brown's bringing the play in. Banks is still not comfortable with getting the signals from the sidelines. Tennessee on the ground today. 41 for Cedric, 39 for Jabari, 38 for Tinsley. Clausen's run for 7, and Scott on a reverse for 14. Banks going to delay it. Run it right up the middle. Got his first down and got more. Good play. I think that was a run all the way, wasn't it?
That was a design play and a good call by Randy Sanders.
So you use your quarterback's athletic ability to get out of a hole. It's good for 20 yards.
Man coverage, the safeties turn to the outside, and Banks is downfield before they know what hit him.
Showing a little power at the end of that, punishing the defender a little bit. He's over 200 pounds. He's not a small guy. Jabari trying to slide outside and not enough speed to get there to the corner. Too much speed by the defender. They're just chasing him. Segal finally runs him out of bounds. Claude Segal, actually, I think they pronounce it. Trying to give him the old Steven Seagal name there for a minute. Segal, the defender. So it brings up now a situation where it's 2nd and 9 with 6:45 to go. A lot of the crowd still hanging around here, enjoying this good weather today, enjoying, really savoring the final game of the season for Tennessee here at Neyland.
And what has been a tough season, given the standard set by Philip Fulmer and his coaching staff.
A lot of teams would take 8 and 4 and go to the bank with it, but this team is not accustomed to that. Banks all kinds of trouble this time. Huge loss. Kentucky just storming in. Riley and Grigsby all over Banks. He had no chance whatsoever. He lost 14 yards.
And they try to roll Banks out. Kentucky has this played well all the way. Nowhere for him to go.
Kentucky defensive staff figured that one out before it ever was called.
And just, you're going to have to take these kind of lumps as a freshman. But I promise you, this kid is going to be a good football player by the time he's a sophomore or junior.
There's Otis Grigsby, who was primarily in on that one. Big senior playing his final game for the Blue. Here's the quarterback. Faked it to his tailback. I'm not sure he didn't want to hand it off, but he's got nowhere to go. Segal again made the stop. Banks, I think, wanted to hand that one off, and I'm not sure there wasn't a miscommunication between he and Davis.
I'm sure you're right that there's some type of problem with communication. Snapped high, wanted to hand it to Davis, decides to keep it, and watch the stiff arm by the quarterback here.
4th sack of the day. So now they're going to have to do what they do not want to do, and that's kick it to Abney.
I think the player down is the guy that was stiff-armed by the quarterback, James Banks.
Segal is the man down, Claude Segal. As you can see, he's moving his legs there, but would indicate he's in some pain. Tennessee wrapping up their regular season. They will go bowling. Kentucky will not because of probation, although they qualified for a bowl, as did Alabama, but they too have to stay home because of probation. Let's take another look and see if we can figure out how the injury occurred here. You'll see the stiff arm here at the end.
James Banks looks like he has a handful of Segal's face mask and shoves him to the ground.
Tell the area they're working on there, if it's the neck or shoulder. Obviously has movement in all the extremities. That's not a problem, and that's the first sigh of relief you have.
He didn't get his hands out to be able to break his fall and hit the ground pretty hard.
See if we take a look at the end of the play, and then, oh, there it is.
Oh,
the
yes.
producer correctly points out that one of his teammates actually fell on him. Grigsby, Otis Grigsby, who weighs 253 pounds, came down on top of him. So now Tennessee, after the injury timeout, will be punting. Colquitt will have to kick to Abney. It's one of those deals where you just say, hang on, hold your breath, here it comes. And last one he got partially blocked, but he gets this one away, and Abney catches it and starts driving to the sidelines. Oh, that's the way you prevent a return right there. That's Jason Witten, the big tight end on the special teams. Number 1, Jason Witten lowered the boom on him.
Derek Abney, one of the best in the country, but when you're running east and west, you're going to run out of real estate.
37 yards, zip on the return.
He's trying to set up his return, can't find that lane, decides, thinks he can beat them to the corner, and Jason Witten says hello.
Jason weighs 265, weight-wise a little bit of a mismatch.
And I'm not sure that wasn't a turnover.
Ball came loose.
I think that should be Tennessee's football.
Crowd is a little unhappy after seeing it on the Jumbotron. You know, Jason Witten would have been a great defensive end. In fact, that's what they had in mind for him when they recruited him. And there you see the hitting ability he had, and had to play tight end because they needed him there. There's Lorenzen off target, way off target again. Baringi, the intended receiver, Alexis Baringi. Well, the coach, you got to give him a lot of credit. He showed his toughness by wearing the short sleeves today. Played 15 years as an offensive lineman in the NFL, and probably played in some so horrendous games weather-wise, but to him this is probably a Florida-type day. Here is Lorenzen in the pocket, got time, throws, incomplete. Again, he's off target. Had his man out there, Abney, with a perfect throw, he would have been in pretty good shape, but he just has been a little high and wide all day.
And Abney runs a deep curl, and he's wide open, and Lorenzen doesn't even come within the zone.
Brings up a 3rd down and 10. 5 minutes, 18 seconds of football remaining in this regular season. And that's all it is for Kentucky. Tennessee, we assume, are going to go bowling somewhere. Lorenzen Throws incomplete. It's covered very well by Tennessee. Aaron Boone covered by Jabari Greer. Number 33. Jabari has played a heck of a football game today. And I'll tell you what, there was a serious question as to whether he would play because of an ankle injury, but he's been outstanding today.
I would agree with you. Great coverage, great job of breaking up the football, and he's feeling it.
Will go into punt formation now at 4th and 10. 5 minutes on the clock, and Mark Jones will drop back to receive. His kick, it's a low one. It's a returnable kick, and Jones picks it up. Looks for a crease. Not much there. Goes down at the 33-yard line. Tennessee will take over 1st down and 10 at that point. Minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this contest. Tennessee's leading at 24-0. 46-yard punt, 8-yard return. You're watching CSS, your source for sports in the Southeast. Back here at Neyland, Tennessee's defense working on their 2nd in a row shutout. Now they still got 4 minutes and 55 seconds to try to do that, but what a compliment that is to John Chavis and the defensive staff. Offense takes over. C.J. Leak is in at quarterback. So Tennessee goes to their 3rd quarterback of the day. C.J. hands off to his tailback, and Derek Tinsley gets up across the 35 to about the 37. A couple of yards. Clock running now. Tennessee in the business of trying to pick up a 1st down or 2 and take this one to the house.
And not only are they playing their 3rd-team quarterback, I see Rich Gandy, freshman in there at tackle, Rob Smith, freshman in there at guard. Getting a lot of young players some good playing time.
C.J. Leak with an I formation, 1 receiver split to the right. Definitely a running formation, and that's exactly what they do. And spinning with that football is the Tennessee tailback, Derek Tinsley. What a great day he's had. 6 yards on this carry.
And if you talk to a lot of coaches, they'll say, you know, we're glad that we're eligible for a bowl for several reasons, one being recruiting. But if you talk to old football coaches, they like to go to bowl games because that gives you 2 more weeks to practice and get your young football players ready.
It's an extra spring practice.
For the spring, exactly. It's an advantage that Kentucky nor Alabama will have.
Tennessee looking at a 3rd and 1, needing a 1st down to keep the clock going. Probably not going to get it right there. It's going to be tough. Keldrick Williams ran into the back of one of his own guys and then bounced off and tried to get it outside, and I don't think he made it. Well, you know, I wouldn't give it back to him right here. I'd run this football, but that's why I'm not coaching.
Well, I think Philip Fulmer feels comfortable that kicking it back to him isn't going to do a whole lot for them.
Well, you got to think about the defense deserving a shutout here for one thing. And 2:47 to go. But you are kicking to the very best in the country at what he does. Returns kicks. Derek Abney. Colquitt sends it. You won't return that one. That's the way to defend that thing. 58 yards. That's called booming it. Abney says, give me a break. Give me one more chance there. Told that if they pitch a shutout today, the last time they had consecutive shutouts was against Tennessee and Vanderbilt, 1994. Here is the big guy still fighting. Should have been whistled down back there, surely. But he completed it, and Gabriel Wilson came up with it. I think this way they're going to rule it or break it up anyway. Let's see.
Lorenzen has 3 volunteers hanging on him, and he's still able to defend, to throw this football.
You know, I think any other quarterback, they would have whistled that thing. But this guy is so big and strong that he's not going to go down. There he is again.
It looked like Tennessee football players are trying to climb a tree.
It does.
He's big around as any tree I've seen.
They say he weighs 302 pounds.
He's got Amari hand.
And Amari is a huge guy himself.
And that's the play. That's the last play. The play before he had 3 guys hanging on.
It is now 3rd and 7. He's back again as he completes it. Unfortunately for the receiver, Penner, he completed it. Penner got racked by J.B. Julian Battle. Battle is talking. Take another look.
Whiteside brings the pressure. He delivers the Penner, and Julian Battle says, I'm a senior. I've got to give them something to remember.
Julian's going to play on Sundays.
You will see him play on Sunday, and for a long time, if he can bar any kind of significant injury.
Back on 4th down, going for it. Oh, my goodness. Larkins had a touchdown and dropped it. Corey will dream about that one tonight.
Corey, you don't get that kind of opportunity back. Lorenzen, as we said today, way off. 3 defenders around the wide receiver, and he throws it right in there, and Larkins can't come up with what would have been 6 points.
Well, Tennessee is going to pitch the shutout. 1 minute and 7 seconds to go. All they got to do is got to fall on it a couple of times and walk out of here with their 8th victory of the year and get ready for a bowl game.
And when you can pitch a shutout on a football team that's averaging 35 points a game, you've had a pretty good day at the office.
Bet that you have. We're going to name the player of the game, who happens to be an offensive player, but really we could name the whole defense for Tennessee. A couple of yards picked up on this one, and the clock is running, and that's all Tennessee wants right now, is to let it run. Guy Morris has had a good year, but he has seen his team really, after that first drive